So I need to clear this mango out here in the South Florida, the great South Florida Food Forest Project. I don't want the mango to get too tall. This is a small backyard, and this mango has been growing very aggressively. And we've pruned it back before, but this is the first time I've looked at it in a while, and it's, you know, getting 25, 30 feet. It's a little much, but there are these Dioscorea alata bulbils growing all over it. So as I came around and started pruning, I said, hey, I think I need some of those for another gardening project. But, you know, mango wood is not very hard stuff. Just gotta be careful. If you have allergies to poison ivy, be careful around mango because it has similar compounds in it. And they're both in the Anacardiaceae family. So one of our most beloved plants and one of our most hated are in the same family. Is your family like that? Do you understand? It happens. You don't get to choose your family. You just do the best with what you got. And then there are parts of your family that are really a problem. You let the goats eat them. You see, the bulbils are the dangling roots. And this time of year, the vines die back and they drop the roots all over the place. I picked up a bunch of them from the forest floor here, but there's plenty more that were up high in the tree, like these guys. But all this is going on the ground. This is the way we compost in this food forest project. We're not buying mulch in at all. A couple of days ago, I went around the yard waste bins of the neighborhood and I asked people, I said, hey, can I take all your yard waste from your yard waste bin? I'll bring the bin back, don't worry. Because here in Fort Lauderdale, you put your bin out for the city and the city picks it up, which is really nice if you want to get rid of all the fertility in your yard. But if you want to build a food forest and build up this really lousy soil into something beautiful, you take all the yard waste and you throw it. But still, because the soil here hadn't had much mulched on top of it in a while, it's gotten very sandy in the food forest and it does not look particularly good. But a lot of things have grown nice and big, which means we can take, you know, these mango branches and the moringa that we cut down and we could throw them all over the ground in here and build the soil back up again. It just needs a lot of organic matter. The geology is always fighting with you here, so the more organic matter, the deep mulch makes a really huge difference, especially in a perennial system like this. Got to find something to feed this to. There we go. Our Suriname cherry should appreciate that, as should the banana right here. Got to find some more stuff to throw on the ground. This is a little Maiwa kumquat that I got from Scrubland Farms 4 months ago, and planted in here. And I noticed here below, this is the graft, but here below the graft, you see this. Note these leaves. See the 3 shape? Now look at the leaf of the kumquat itself. See the difference? Single leaf compared to this triple leaf down here. This is the trifoliate orange rootstock coming up from below. And I've seen this a lot. Somebody said, you know, there used to be a great orange tree back there, but now all it makes is these horrible, bitter, sour oranges. And usually what's happened then is the rootstock underneath, which is often a trifoliate orange, easy to recognize, has grown up and overwhelmed the graft, or the graft has died. But since I don't want this here, you just break this guy off at the bud. I should have like some special tool, but this is permaculture, man. This is permaculture. Get off of there, you stupid. So I've been dropping all these mulberries, the mulberry branches on top of here, and I've got Mexican sunflower I'm dropping on top of here because I don't want the soil to go back to this nasty gray stuff like we have in the path here. You know, this is what the soil normally looks like, and this is not great for plants. So all of these grass clippings came from a neighbor's yard. I dumped all this here, and then I planted some sweet potato slips. These came from Michelle, who's our neighbor, not that far away, and she brought these white sweet potato slips. She came with her family to my talk the other day and brought us some slips. So I figured, hey, look, we got this nice mulched area. All this stuff is already decaying. This was from the yard waste bin. It's already decaying down into compost. And so just planting the slips in there, and we'll get some sweet potatoes out of here, and it'll cover the ground and keep it cool. And then these sticks will eventually rot down. Things rot really fast here. This is the tropics, so that's the way it rolls. You cut stuff up smaller, it rots down faster, obviously. And so if there's something you really want to take care of, you know, cut all your sticks and things up and throw them around the base of something that you love. If you have a tree that keeps coming back and it's a pain in the neck, cut it down, but don't kill it. Just keep cutting it again and again to make biomass, because what we're really lacking down here in South Florida is organic matter. This little cashew tree has been in here for years, actually, but it kept getting cut down over and over again because my dad didn't recognize it, and my mom and my dad would come out here and clear this area. And I had all these nitrogen fixing trees and stuff, so they cleared this whole area because they didn't recognize there was being any fruits back here. But then this thing came back from the ground, and my mom said, you know, that doesn't look like the rest of the stuff. What is that tree that's coming up there? And I said, oh my goodness, it's a cashew. I thought the thing would died years ago, but it came back. So here, I'm pruning a little bit off of this star fruit. For those of you from South America, it's carambola. Those of you in the Caribbean, it's five-finger fruit. Very nice. This is an improved variety, nice and sweet, good variety. But I can chop anything here and throw it to this tree to encourage it, because I actually think it would be really cool to grow cashews here. I don't think I've seen cashews in South Florida. I'm sure somebody's doing it, but I haven't seen them in person, so it'd be kind of fun to watch that happen. Our neighbor Eric, who's another plant guy, brought over a cocoa tree for my mom. There's a rock down there. I wonder what it is. Let's see. Come on. Buried treasure. Oh. It's a brick. It's probably here from the Spanish. But anyhow, you know, South Florida's not ideal for growing cocoa, chocolate, but hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm gonna throw some compost in there. You don't normally throw compost in the hole when you dig a hole, but there's like no life in here at all. So I'm gonna dig around a little bigger and throw some compost in. All right.
Oh, you just splattered me with orange.
Sorry. Here. It's a very shallow pot. This is so much fun. This is so cool. You know, I had always wanted to grow cocoa when I was younger, and then I got to grow it when we were in the tropics and harvest it, live around it. It was really cool. So it's kind of exciting that Eric brought over this tree and dropped it off. I didn't even know he brought it. Mom said he had brought some trees, and then I came out, I was like trying to identify all the trees. I went, oh my goodness, that's really cool. That is a cocoa tree. And I'm putting it right here because it's got a little shade off of this mango, and it's got some shade off of the coconut right here. It's very happy. This is a seedling avocado that I planted right here. And I have a plant that likes shade. This, Monstera deliciosa. And I cannot remember the name of the lady that gave this to me the other day at my talk, but thank you very much. Please leave a comment so I can give you proper credit. But we had a plant swap, and I brought some katuk and Mexican sunflower cuttings, and a bunch of folks brought a bunch of different things, and this one is one I've always thought was a very beautiful plant. It's often grown just as an ornamental, and for those of you further north, and especially those plant collectors on lockdown, this has been one of those indoor plants that people are like, oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful plant. You know, people are making fortunes off of selling variegated versions, that sort of thing online. But I want it, not just because it's beautiful, but because it makes an edible fruit. And it will take the shade and look very pretty here, I think. We'll let it climb up the side of this avocado because this avocado was not pruned properly. The lower branches were all cut off, so it's got a lot of bare trunk, so we might as well take advantage of that bare trunk. I like to have lower branches because you can pick fruit, you know, in range, but these branches all got cleared out at some point. So we'll grow a monstera on it instead, and it'll look pretty. Doesn't that already look better? It's gorgeous, isn't it? Such a pretty plant. I love it. That's the tropics right there. And now I've got this other chop and drop stuff. I'll just throw it around the base there, let it rot down. I'll chop up some of those mangoes and stick them there too. Mango branches. Be good. One of the things that I scored the other day when I was emptying out everybody's yard waste bins on the street, there was one house where there was nobody home, and I knocked on the door because there was a car in the driveway, but nobody answered, and I thought, well, I'll take a risk and I'll take their yard waste bin since it's next to the road, and I'll come down here and dump it. Well, I noticed it was really heavy, and when I got it down here and I dumped it, I found out that it was full of an entire big clump of bananas, like banana trees. Clumps, like somebody had taken a big banana stand, right, and dug it all up out of their yard and chopped them up. So this right here, this stump has a big banana bulb on the bottom of it, underneath there, that has multiple shoots that are getting ready to come up. And so I went, hey, perfect, look at that. Now we got more bananas. I have no idea what variety it is. It was a nice big trunk thing. So, you know, it was kind of handy. There's actually a lot of plants in here that kind of accidentally ended up here in yard waste. Like there's ferns and there's dracaenas and various creepers and some weeds and things. But it's all part of the adventure. If you plant down in South Florida, you end up with tons and tons of stuff volunteering, whether you want it or not. But I find that exciting. Some of you that may make nervous, but I love it. All right, before we go, let us take a tour from the front yard. That's the acerola cherry there. And here is a soursop tree that my mom doesn't actually know that I planted. She may have found it by now, but she hasn't said anything. Over here, that is one of the bananas from the clump that I discovered in the yard waste bin. And then coming up here, this is our tropical almond tree passing on the left, which just keeps getting taller and taller. And here is a Malabar chestnut I did not realize was growing. I planted seeds some years ago, and this one popped up, and it was in the midst of some other weeds and stuff, and there it is. This is one of our newer bananas. Just got put in there, and you can see the chop and drop from what we were doing. I was cleaning up the landscaping, dropping in the bits and pieces of chop and drop. And this here is a little sugarloaf white pineapple, which was given to me at the talk that we did by a very nice gentleman who brought a few for me. Chocolate pudding fruit tree right here. Look at those guys. You can just pick them and bring them inside right now. It's really looking pretty good. Walking across here, this is another one of the bananas I planted just back in August, and there is a volunteer papaya here at the base which just came up all on its own, very surprisingly to me. It probably just came out of the compost. There's also a candlestick cassia there. Now you can see all the yard junk we threw down around the seedling avocado. That avocado bloomed last year, hasn't produced yet. And there's that monstera I just put in. And here is a mango. Joan just gave me some mangoes, which I planted after the previous part of the video. This is a little Julie mango. It's already blooming. We're gonna have to keep it small. There's not a lot of space here. Sleeping hibiscus is growing around my palm tree here. Looking good. You can see how much I took out of the mango. It was really tall, so like I said, probably 15, 20 feet. And chopped it and dropped it around that cocoa too. I'm just kind of doing a little bit of cleaning up before we get out of here. There's a seedling mulberry hiding back there next to the chaya. Yeah, it's gonna grow. It's going to grow. And there's a curry tree. I'm gonna push through there really fast and get to this dwarf mulberry. Now I cut this thing way back, and you can see it's growing back just fine. It's grown like a couple of feet since I cut it. And now there's just piles of stuff that I've thrown on the ground, which will all rot down into soil. Bananas. There's some sort of citrus my mom planted. I think it's a tangerine. That's Suriname cherry there. Kind of getting that blown out effect of the afternoon light here. See, I've cut a lot of stuff. The Grumacham is actually starting to look good there. This is the Jamaica cherry. Really good little tree. The star fruit is always the star of the show. It has just been crazy productive and beautiful. So easy to grow. I planted some ginger here at the base of it in the shade, and there's some tropical almond branches I cut. And see, there's too much sand, so dropping and chopping and dropping. I also stuck this little banana stump here at the bottom of the gutter. And I stuck some chaya cuttings in here around Mom's lilies, which I don't know if she knows I did that either. So if you're watching this, Mom, don't pull any of those things out if you love me. But man, I just love the way it looks back here. This is so much better than a lawn. Another stump. Isn't that better than a lawn? Come on, people. Way better. All kinds of food in there. Bananas and moringa and yams and plenty of stuff. It just gets better.
Back in the mall.
When the rainy season comes, probably later in this year, when we come down again, I'll film and we'll get to see what it looks like when everything is really lush and beautiful. Right now, it's kind of about half dormant and it's been, it's a little drier and stuff, so it doesn't look quite as pretty as it could, but still, it's a pretty jungle. So, catch you next time, and until then, may your thumbs always be green.
I buried my rabbit beneath the cherry tree one fine afternoon. Someday I know that we'll meet again on a fruit salad spoon.
This is an organically grown permaculture fruit. It's so amazing. There's no pesticides. I even chew the seeds up like nature intended.